Hi everybody, Emma Murphy here, disordered eating specialist, psychotherapist and trainer in the area of emotional eating and binge eating disorder. And this series of videos is designed to help qualified health professionals who want some more tools and resources to be able to effectively support clients who disclose emotional eating and binge eating disorder. Now I'm going to be using a couple of props while I go through these videos. The 4 Energies of Emotional Eating card deck is a card deck I developed out of our Eating Freely program. So they're very helpful if you do ever want to get those for yourself. But actually what you can do is download the free ebook, which is available in the description below. And in the book, you will find every card and the descriptor on the back of the card, and then a deeper meaning, and then you'll find reflective questions and actions that you can share with your clients. So that is completely free for all practitioners who are watching these videos. Please feel free to just download it from the link below. So without any further ado, let's get started on today's lesson. Hi everybody, not in my normal office this week because we have relocated down to our holiday home for a few weeks of the summer, but still working, but trying to find a little bit more time for balance and fun. And it was very appropriate today then for me to discuss this card and the topic of fun in the context of unpacking that and exploring that with clients. So as you can see on the card, it talks about a client that I had once who said that she was afraid to have too much fun, that she would kind of find herself pulling back if she was, laughing or enjoying something or, like really engaging in a moment of joy. She'd actually kind of pull herself back, and she found herself maybe not doing activities that involved having fun or cutting loose or, just really enjoying the moment and being very carefree. Because when we unpacked it, it was her mother who actually couldn't really allow her daughter or her children to have fun. Just the sounds of the children laughing, giggling, kind of being rambunctious, was too much for her mother, and it was in some way it was a threat, or it was difficult for her, and we never really got to the bottom of what that was. She said her mother was a very nervous woman. She was kind of hypervigilant. She felt that maybe something had been going on, between her mum and her dad. She wasn't quite sure what it was, but she just felt that her mum was always actually that kind of very hypervigilant person and always looking out for, the threat, as opposed to ever allowing herself to have fun or enjoy herself. And of course that translated down to the children, where they were also never really allowed to have fun. So we have a classic example here of a client who is carrying, a form of intergenerational trauma, so to speak. She's copying or mirroring her mother's response to fun or joy by restricting herself from having fun or joy in her own life. So we really had to do a bit of work around unpacking all of that and giving that client permission to have fun. Now, the other thing that I reference on this card is Brené Brown. And Brené Brown talks about foreboding joy particularly in The Power of Vulnerability, which is an audio book that she recorded many years ago. This would have been at kind of the beginning of Brené Brown becoming Brené Brown. And it is a book that I recommend to an awful lot of clients, and all our practitioners as well who train with us, we suggest that you listen to it, because in my mind, Brené Brown shares the same personality type as clients with emotional eating, binge eating disorder as I do. So a lot of her characteristics, a lot of her personality traits, and therefore a lot of the personal work that she had to do on herself, which is what she's talking about in The Power of Vulnerability, is very relevant and relatable for our clients. So I strongly recommend that you have a listen to that if you can get hold of it. But let's go a little bit deeper now into helping our clients unpack whether or not they allow themselves to have fun. Okay, so in the book then, the deeper meaning of the card, I'm talking about the fact that it can be difficult for our clients to cut loose and have fun. And there are a number of different reasons for this. So this is what you're going to have to unpack with a client. It's a combination of that perfectionistic personality type. So of course, if they're a very perfectionistic person, they would believe that they would always have to be doing something productive, that they should always be working, that everything that they're doing should have a purpose or an end goal or an outcome or a result. And that's something that Brené actually refers to in her book when she talks about the 10 pillars of wholehearted living, that people who live wholeheartly and authentically actually allow themselves to have fun. And I think she was saying to her friend, these people goof off, they're like, not working, and they're not focusing, and they're not doing their thing. They're just having fun, and she was sort of astounded by this, that it was, one of the, she realized that it is one of the pillars of wholehearted living, that you do allow yourself to have fun, but she was kind of shocked by it herself. And, she talks about the conversation she had with her friend about it. It's quite funny. But the other reason that people would, maybe not allow themselves to have too much fun as the adult that they are today is that, like my client, they had an experience of not being allowed to have fun. So again, if you think about, and I talk about the types of maybe trauma or adverse childhood experience that clients have gone through, if you had an unpredictable sort of or chaotic or dysfunctional family background, or you had somebody who got very angry or violent, or you had somebody who was physically or mentally ill, whether that was diagnosed or undiagnosed, and therefore had a very low tolerance for noise, for disruption, for distress, then, the atmosphere at home had to be kept very calm, very quiet, very careful that you weren't either going to upset or distress or disturb mum or dad, or that you weren't going to cause whoever it is to kick off. So if there was a risk of violence or destroy, so an anger or an outburst. So that's a very common reason why clients never really are, that fun-loving kind of laughing kind of person. And you'll find that clients sometimes are quite serious, and everything is very serious, and there is no fun, there's no jokes, there's no laughing going on. And I'm not saying that therapy is full of laughter and joy, but you can have a laugh, you can crack a joke, and clients crack jokes, and but some clients don't. And that's always just something that I would observe, where the client is on that scale of allowing themselves to just maybe have a little joke, crack a little joke, have a little laugh. Then the other end of that actually is the client who says everything to you with this big kind of false smile on their face because they can't allow themselves to touch the sorrow. So that's a different part of the spectrum. Like, that's the other end of the spectrum. But we're talking about the client who might be very serious and just always talking in quite a flat affect, and they don't really laugh, and their voice doesn't go up and down, or that kind of thing. So the other reason, of course, would be that somebody grew up in like poverty, hardship. There was a lot of grief maybe in the family, or something had happened. So again, the mood at home as a child would have been quite somber, quite serious, quite sober, and there would be no laughing, joy, that kind of thing. So there's often quite a few reasons why a client doesn't allow themselves to cut loose and have fun. And actually, when I do discuss this in the book, when I was picking the images for these cards, and I mean, how could you resist that one? But we actually have a Jack Russell, and we also have a boxer. And we rescued both of those dogs when they were, Millie, the Jack Russell, was a year, and Boots, our boxer, was 18 months. And Millie, being a terrier, Jack Russell, incredibly resilient dog, was well able to, kind of come out of her nervousness. And she was very nervous when we first got her. She had been abused, but, she recovered very quickly. And she still, when we were able to have fun with her, and our daughter was able to play with her when she was younger. But our boxer had never learned how to have fun, had no idea what to do when you threw a ball, had no idea how to just have that kind of rough and tumble play that you would associate, a big dog, a big young dog, like you'd imagine that they would be quite rambunctious and having fun. And Boots was never able to do that because she had been neglected from a very early age. Nobody had ever played with her. Nobody ever taught her how to play. Nobody had ever given her permission to play. And so there was this card is particularly relevant to me and means a lot to me on a lot of different levels, because it reminds me as much about my dogs as it does about working with some of our clients. So a lot of clients have gone through a childhood experience where for some reason or other they were not really allowed or encouraged to have fun, and it was kind of shut down anytime it was happening. And so that is a piece of work that we can do with clients to help them develop their ability to just do something for the sake of it or for the enjoyment of it. So again, this is something that Brené talks about, that if you decide to do something, and it could be something creative, it could be something like, it could be a hobby or a craft or something like that a client might enjoy doing, but you're doing it just for the sake of doing it, not for the fact that you want it to be perfect or that you're going to have an outcome. So one of the examples that I give is, again, when my daughter was younger, we might have gone out onto the road with 2 tennis rackets and a ball, and we would have just hit the tennis ball backwards and forwards. Now, she had no interest in playing tennis. She didn't do tennis lessons. I actually don't really enjoy tennis. So I was never going to encourage her to play tennis. But we would go out and hit the ball on the road with the 2 tennis rackets because it was fun. So we were only purely doing it for fun, a bit of outdoor time, a bit of fun between us, playing a game between us. And it literally was just playing a game and having fun. It wasn't about me helping her improve her shot or improve her aim or get good at tennis or, practice for her lesson, next week. So that is the difference with fun. Fun is something that you do just for the enjoyment of the action or activity that you're actually doing. Okay. You're not doing it for any purpose or any outcome or to improve or to produce something. Okay. So that's a really important distinction to give to your clients, because they might say, well, I enjoy going to the gym, but that's not fun. Fun is, going out and laughing with your friends, or picking an activity and doing it just for the sake of the fact that you enjoy it. That could even be, by the way, giving themselves permission to sit on the sofa and read a book for half an hour, which maybe they don't allow themselves to do. Now, that's not fun per se, but it's downtime, it's rest, it's relaxation, and there's no other purpose to it other than they're just going to read 3 chapters of their fiction book, not non-fiction, self-improvement, or work-related book, but just an actual novel. So the reflective questions for the clients, do I allow myself to cut loose and have fun regularly or even at all? Do I restrict or avoid fun because I worry about the consequences? So again, the client, foreboding joy, coming from Brené Brown, what are the consequences? What's actually going to go wrong? What's the fear? And then what's the truth? Now, that's a tool that we use with clients quite a bit. What's the fear? Because sometimes it's so, internalized and unconscious that when you actually ask them, articulate what they think is actually going to happen if they have a laugh or kind of cut loose and have a bit of fun, clients can barely even name it. So to really kind of try and unpack that gently and empathically, but, to kind of say, what do you think is going to happen? Or what's the fear, if you really cut loose and had that fun and let down your guard and let your hair down, what would happen? And what might the consequences be? And then what's the truth? Because the truth is, that's probably a very long ago fear and a very old reaction, and it's possibly even somebody else's reaction and not theirs at all. Okay. So the second one, is my life a balance of work and play, real actual play, or is it all responsibility and seriousness? And who, made them the boss of being responsible for everything, kind of, letting them understand that not everything has to be productive. They don't have to be responsible for everything. They are not responsible for everything. That could lead you into a conversation about boundaries, about people pleasing, and other areas that I talk about on these videos. So the actions then that you can suggest for the client to plan to do something fun, just go and do something fun. And it means that you're going to enjoy what they're doing just for the sake of it. Go to a lighthearted movie or watch a lighthearted movie on the TV and just have a laugh. Look up things to do in your area and pick something that might be just fun to try, and maybe bring a friend or family member with you. Do you want to go karting or go to the water park, go to a fun fair? But don't pick anything that the client can worry that they won't be any good at, so not bowling, for example. And then putting regular fun dates in their diary. So could they just schedule even once a month that they're going to try and do something different or do something that's just fun and just enjoy it, and really help them to bring this element of their lives back into their routine. And this can be slow, hard work, and there can be a good bit of unpacking to do around the past. So please be mindful of that. And just asking those questions, what is the fear and what do you think the consequences might be? And then what is the truth? And, is it your fear? Is it somebody else's fear? And just asking those questions very gently, but also encouraging the clients to try a couple of things out and just see how they go. And do they enjoy them? And, what do they learn about themselves? And what do they learn about other people? And what do they even feel, when they were doing it? So were they feeling guilty that they weren't doing something productive? Were they afraid that somebody was going to come in and see them not being productive? Because who in the past would have come in and, given out to them or gotten angry with them if they saw them, goofing off and not doing something that was productive or, responsible. So there's potentially quite a lot to unpack here, but I really hope that you found this helpful. And again, don't forget, you can download the free ebook in the links below. And if you feel that having the card deck would help you working with clients a bit more effectively, then please feel free to order that as well. But for now, take care and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.